Good morning to everybody in Soulvolution. Connie here, obviously, you're here. I decided today to change the view and show you a different corner in my office, the one that has all the books here on the side. Maybe one of these days we'll go through the library so that you all can see all the madness that I have purchased over the years. And I think some of you will probably ask the question of, have I read every single one of these books? And no, I have not read every single one of these books. However, for me, it's about accessing them for information based on what my intuition is calling me to do. So that's what happens to me. So we'll wait. Let's wait for a few minutes, see if anybody will join us here this morning. Let me pop the messages here. I know what I need to do. I'm doing it on my phone today, so it's a little different. Let's see here. Okay. I'll wait 1 minute here. My cup today is Stay Wild Moonchild. Figured it went with my blue top that I have here on today. Seems to be the color that I'm most attracted to lately for whatever reason. It's the color blue, which is all about our throat chakra. You know, in our throat chakra, obviously it's about communication, and it's obviously connected to our neck, our arms, right? And it's funny lately, I've been kind of getting these moments where I'm like, let me clear my throat. So clearly I have some things that are evolving and coming out. So while we're waiting, today's the last day of the 7-day journal writing challenge. And I have to tell you, I know at least for me, a lot came up. A lot came up for me. And I know that in the group, a lot's come up for a lot of people. And, you know, what I will say about this is that the power of journaling, I think oftentimes we just completely forget, and we don't realize that when we actually do take a moment to reflect, right, on a specific question or a specific prompt or a specific area in our lives, what surfaces is so powerful, right? And we don't often recognize that or realize that because we don't give ourselves the time and space to do it. And then oftentimes we just don't know what to do, right? We're kind of stuck. Like, I don't know what to write. I don't know what I want coming out or is going to come up or any of that kind of stuff. So it's been really powerful. I have to say, this is something that I've been wanting to commit to for myself. I'm in the process of writing my book, getting my ass into gear. So I need to continue to hone in and do that reflection. And so being able to do that and continue that. So there may be more coming. So I'll keep you all posted with that. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is that this evening, 7 to 9 p.m., I am hosting a human design basics intro class. Okay. This will give you an opportunity to learn about the system that has completely changed my life from 5 years ago. Maybe it's 6 years ago, if I'm doing the math correctly. Five-ish. And this has been a beautiful system connecting me towards my purpose, connecting me towards my why, really understanding that the reason I resulted in burnout for me in my life is because I was living a life that was not aligned with my system, right? And then I had to look at the systems and really recreate and reform essentially the life that I'm still building, right? Because I'm still learning. Because when you've been conditioned for so long to do something for so long, and it's funny because I'm looking at right here, there's the book right there. It's literally right here. I'm like, oh, right here, Understanding Human Design, okay, which is Karen Parker Curry. And I'm in the process of getting certified, even though I've been studying this for so long. I know some of you have asked those questions, and if it's human design or if it's also quantum alignment or the quantum version of it. And it will be the quantum version of it, but I've been studying the original version, if you will, if that's the way to explain it. And I want to teach you how to read your chart. There are so many pieces to it, but just having a basic understanding and knowing is huge. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. It's $77. Send it to my Venmo at Connie-Aramento, and we will get that going. It's honestly one of the best personal development tools I think out there that has really helped me, especially since it really integrates science and astrology and the chakra system and the I Ching. All of these pieces I know for me that I've studied for so long. So that's something that I want to invite you all into and allow me the opportunity to teach you and to share with you what I know about this system and how it's changed my life and how it can change yours. Okay, so let's dive into the reading. I was waiting to see who we'd have pop on here today. But again, just as a reminder, take what resonates, leave the rest. All right, so we're entering in May. So today is May 3rd. Okay, so here we go. This is May 3rd throughout this week. As my throat is cracking. So we have a couple of themes going on this week. Somebody wants to say something. Let's put it that way. So if that's you, talk to yourself. All right. So we've got things connected to justice. We've got things connected to balance. And I have to tell you that I read something this morning, which I think is really fascinating. Colette Baron-Reid did her monthly this morning and said something about like unexpected things happening like to your benefit, and she talked about justice being a theme. Well, isn't it funny that the first card that I picked today is To Be Fair, which is all about justice. Okay, so if you picked card number 1 today, it's all about justice. It's all about cause and effect. It's all about equality. It's all about balance. Okay, so ebb and flow. You know, it's basically like understanding that there's a balance and a need to create a balance. Yes, this is the law card too, you know, so some of you may be dealing with, I'm thinking taxes for whatever reason. But you know, it can be, by the way, because it's connected to the law. So some of it's connected to the law, connected to balance, connected to really finding a way to create some sort of scale or equality that basically works for you. And I think that once we look at all the other cards today, I think the big story will come together for you and you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. But if you picked card number 1 this week, it's really about justice. And I think that, and it's funny, ready? There's a little owl at the top. I just got a message this morning from one of my clients who talked to me about an owl. So I feel like that's what this is about. Justice. And if you're listening, that's I think for you in particular. And isn't it funny that the cover of the wisdom of the Oracle book is actually the Justice card. So I just want to point that out for those of you again who need to hear about it. And it's interesting because I'm hearing a noise right now. A truck is going backwards. Okay, so I believe there's a little bit of a fear of people feeling as though they're going backwards, okay? But I don't think that that's the case. I think that in our minds we think that we're moving backwards, but that's not the case, okay? So here we go. So again, balance, justice, a need to consider options, things of mutual benefit. Life offers experiences that are challenging and experiences that are nourishing, yet over time they strike a balance. You move from being, from stasis to doing, from discovering. It's kind of like that It's like metamorphosis, right? Loving to letting go to being again. Life is a pendulum swinging between all of these states. You will always go back and forth between that notion of doing and being. That's why I think that this card, to be fair, is really about like, well, hey, have you been taking care of yourself? Have you been creating any sort of balance for yourself? Are you like burning the candle at both ends? You know what I mean? Or 3 ends or 4 ends. I don't know. Right. If you are not content with where you are at this moment, remember that all experiences have their place in time. Accept them without judgment, and you will see how the universe adjusts in perfect balance. You reap what you sow. For every cause, there is an effect. So I think it's like I think it's about like taking responsibility for like things maybe or choices that you've done. So it's like, well, to be fair, you chose to do X, Y, Z. So if you're pissed off about something right now, there's a reason for that, right? So you have to take that accountability for yourself. So the other thing I want to bring up with this is it's also about even exchanges. So for some of you who are in business, it's about contracts. It's about making sure that there's a giving and receiving. There's about balance and reciprocity, and that there is like, how do I put it? If you're feeling like, you're the one constantly doing everything, like this ain't going to work for you. Let's put it that way. Make sure that your contracts, obviously, and we're Mercury retrograde later on this month, at the end of the month, actually. So I think it's important for us to think about like what brings us balance. How are we going to feel balanced? I feel like we're coming into this month a bit exhausted. And so we have to reshuffle a little bit. That's what's really coming to me. So it says, in all your affairs, you would be able to negotiate fair settlements. Mutual gain is the gift to you and your partners and your colleagues. Square your finances, take stock of what you're being compensated for, right? I think the other thing right now is we're probably taking a look at like our worth, what we're getting paid, how we're getting paid. Is this fair, right? Based on competitors or a competitive advantage, things like that. So there's a lot in this card, I think, for whether you're a business owner or just in general, I think in our lives. It's about really keeping your truth. And then again, I think within relationships, it's like considering all sides, right? So it's like, and I think this is interesting, says, can you find a way to achieve fairness right now? This is a time for listening and speaking, for understanding and asking to be understood. So if you're in a relationship or having those conversations, I think it's important to be able to say, well, it's, I think that this is what's fair. Here's my point of view. Here's my perspective. I'm coming to the table with this piece of information. I want you to understand this about me, right? It's not about you, it's about me. And that's what we're always looking towards, okay? Your heart wants to connect to others. Allow for that balanced, right? Balanced exchange of ideas and actions. So it's about being valued, heard, received, right? All of that. So that's a really, really big card this week. Okay. Now, card number 2. We've got fork in the road reversed. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Hey now. It's interesting why I thought about that song. I have no idea sometimes why these songs come up in my mind. But the fork in the road for me is about like not making decisions, right? Because if it were this way, you're like in a fork in the road, I got to make a decision. Well, if you don't make a decision, it's indecision, right? So indecision is a decision. So therefore, you're choosing to go round and round and round with certain things because of your indecision. That's a little bit about what this card is. So card number 2. So it says, indecision is extremely frustrating and will lead to anxiety, loss, and confusion. At this juncture, you cannot remain in place without losing your way altogether. Avoid the tendency to let others choose for you, which amounts to actually not taking responsibility for something, right? Don't give your power away, not even to this oracle. By making a choice, you are making a choice for which you must be accountable, right? So take heart. Spirit never tires you, giving you second chances. You can always start again once you've learned this valuable lesson. So, we've got the first card, which is about achieving balance. And we've got the second card, which is about like, don't be like, I have no idea. And just like, give your power away, right? You have to listen to yourself, and you have to be able to ask yourself what is it that I need right now, or what is it that I need clarity in, or whatever it is that you're going through, whatever you want deeper wisdom or insight related to. Okay, so now we've got the third one. Interesting. Time for a nap. Card number 24 and protection. All right. So time for a nap. Man, you all must be exhausted this week. Who's burning the candle at 50 million ends? Although I kind of feel that way every day. So this card obviously is connected to overworking, overwhelmed, over, right? I always say, like, if you're over, you're not doing something. So that's a big thing, right? So you're a human being, not a human doing. Is it possible you're suffering from workaholism? Could you be the one who thinks it's your job to save everyone? Be there for everybody. Go, go, go until you fall apart, right? That's why we got the first card. Get it? It's about balance for you. You've worked hard, nourished people, projects, but now you are an empty well. You have no reserve for others, and therefore you have to go give yourself some reserves now, right? Because you've got to go recalibrate, right? So don't let your ego keep you going full speed when your body and spirit need rest. Exhaustion is calling you to stop what you're doing altogether. Take a break. If you don't, this could end up with unfortunate illness, okay? When we look at just disease and ill, those kinds of things. So take a break. We heard take a break, right? Take responsibility. Take a break. Overworking. I'm looking at the cards down, that's why. Balance, right? Hello. It could be related to other things too, but like, you know, it could also be like take a break from a big project, something maybe you are expecting some sort of other outcome with, like something that's angering you, frustrating you, all of those kinds of things, okay? And then we've got the intuition card, right? So we've got deep knowing. This is about like really trusting yourself. This is about really saying like, I'm going to ask myself, what do I feel right now? What am I being guided towards? What is it that I really need to move towards and do? What do I need to know, believe, and do as a result of whatever it is that you're going through right now? So what is it that you need to know? What is your intuition saying for you, right? It's saying something for you to pay attention. And perhaps maybe you haven't necessarily listened to it, right? So intuition is the faculty that allows you to enter into a dialogue with source. The consciousness that you're a part of but cannot see with the naked eye. It's perplexing that people are taught to ignore the natural capacity to navigate their own journeys. Think about that, right? So it's like, don't give your power away, right? Don't give your power away. Choose intuition. Choose to listen to yourself, because it's basically like, well, I don't want to make a decision, because if I make a decision, then I'm going to be held accountable for it, and I can't live with that. I'd rather have somebody else make a decision for me, and then that way, if I fuck up, right, or if it doesn't turn out the way that I want to, I don't have to blame myself. That's what we do sometimes, right? Silly, I know, but true. Okay. It says, know that you have an ability to read between the lines and find all the truth that was missing when the story was told. This deep knowing allows you to open the door to wisdom far greater than what is available in the limitations of the human experience. You're given information that may make no sense. We know that if you're an empath, intuitive, you get messages every day. It doesn't even matter. It's a matter of whether or not we're listening or not. You're given information that may make no sense whatsoever to the logical mind or five senses, but it is 100% true and accurate, right? This trick is to listen and then act accordingly. You're now invited into the sacred dialogue of deep knowing, okay? So in relationships, right, we often meet people that we feel like we have a very deep connection with. We know that there's something about this connection, right? Somebody crosses our path suddenly, right? All those kinds of things. And you're connected at a deeper level, right? So this is it from a relationship perspective. So that feeling marks a moment in which that you can't even explain to people, right? Someone has entered your life who will be instrumental in your journey. So pay attention. Two hearts are calling to each other to begin an alchemical process. This is also a sign that your intuition about this person you care about is correct. Trust your heart to lead you now. Magic is about to happen. So from a prosperity perspective, this says it's a time when your hunches will pay large dividends if you listen to them. Take the risk, act. Within you. There is an oracular consciousness, a higher and deeper knowing that transcends the machinations of the smaller thinking mind. At the deeper level of the intuitive senses, you have an access point to the genius of the collective. So I think it's really about like just really listening. But here's the last card. Here's the last card. Not for you. So if you got card number 5, you know, maybe your intuition is really telling you that something is not for you, right? Maybe part of the intuition is like, it's not for me. Like, and I think we engage in things oftentimes because we think it's the right thing to do, but doesn't necessarily feel like the right thing to do right now in this moment. Doesn't mean forever, but right now in this moment, perhaps because there's a need to strike some more balance. Perhaps there's a need to have a bit more reciprocity. Perhaps there's a need to feel valued. Perhaps there's a need, and so part of this is like, there's some workaholism going on, right? We got to listen to our intuition here, and really take care of yourself. I think that's what is really, really going on here. But here's the thing. The not for you is also about rejection. Okay. So, which is part of God's plan, right? So rejection is an opportunity for you to be redirected, right? You're being protected. And I think that's another big message for this. Let's see. There are times when it appears that no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the result you seek always seems to elude you. I know what that's like. That was like my whole career in higher education. It's as if you don't really get to be in the game and you feel you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you're not going to attain what you want right now. That indeed your dreams for that exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it, which is a really hard thing. Really hard thing. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what is for your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you truly happy is on its way, and trust this. So, from a relationship perspective, there could be failure, right? There could be things that are just not working, because, well, it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be, right? And sometimes, even in projects, right, is that we can fail in projects, or things don't come out the way that we want them to come out. So I think really the message this week, again, your message is obviously the one that's being called to you. But, if you're listening, maybe they're all for you or the whole message is for you. But basically, I think what I'm really seeing here is just that there's a need to rebalance. There's a need to rebalance here. There's a need to bring things back towards you where you're not feeling overwhelmed, where you're feeling valued, recognized, appreciated. And I think you need to listen to your intuition to get to that place. So if you're feeling rejected or if you're not getting the result that you want right now, but your mind says it should, right? Again, this could be anything: relationships, business, personal life, who knows, right? But don't worry. I think that it's really about choosing you at the end and, avoiding burnout. And I think that that's really, really important. I really, really do. So that is what we have for our weekly reading this week. Let me know in the comments if this is something that resonates with you. And if any of you are interested in booking a reading with me, please go to my website, soulsync.wellness.com, and you can do that. And I look forward to seeing many of you this evening at the Human Design event. And if you have any questions about that, please send me a DM. Otherwise, let's have an amazing, amazing week. Keep it positive and do something for yourself that makes you feel more appreciated, valued, and loved. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.